Welcome to an extra shot of Grace in the Grind, the part of the podcast where the mic probably should have been turned off, but we kept talking anyways. This is the bonus space for deeper theology, honest stories, fewer filters, and the level of caffeinated commentary I should probably apologize for in advance. We'll dig a little deeper, laugh a little louder, and occasionally go a bit off the rails. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's take an extra sip together. Let's jump into the main point here. Psalm 46:10 is what we discussed in the episode. Be still and know that I am God. Most of us picture that verse embroidered on a pillow or hanging in a quiet hallway with some watercolor mountains behind it and some scenery. But that's not the setting of Psalms. The command was not written in the calm. It was written in the chaos. Nations were raging, kingdoms tottering, mountains trembling, waters were roaring and foaming. In Hebrew poetry, mountains represented stability, the things that don't move. So when the psalmist says the mountains are falling into the sea, he's saying when everything stable in your life is collapsing right there in that emotional earthquake, God speaks. The Hebrew for be still, Rapha, means loosen your grip, let your hand fall, drop the weapons of self-reliance, release your attempt to control outcomes, stop striving to be God. It's not about inactivity. It's about relinquishing authority. Rapha is the language of surrender, not sedation. It's God saying, relax your white knuckle grip. Stop trying to hold together a world I already sustain. Stillness is not an escape from responsibility. It's an act of obedience. Stillness is a spiritual discipline, not a personality trait. It's not just something we're born with. Some of us are wired high energy, some of us low energy, but stillness isn't about temperament. It's about trust. Stillness is not achieved when life finally stops being chaotic. That day will never come. It's achieved when your soul becomes anchored to the character and presence of God. Even Jesus practiced stillness, not because he lacked strength or needed a break, but because he delighted in depending on the Father. His stillness wasn't weakness. It was alignment. Stillness begins internally. It's not the absence of noise. It's the presence of certainty. It's confidence that God is God and I am not. That he sustains, he upholds, he works even when I stop. Stillness is the soul saying, I trust the one holding the world more than I trust my ability to manage it. Stillness is not simply calming down. It's participating in something deeply theological. Stillness acknowledges God's sovereignty. You cannot be still before someone whose rule you do not trust. It's both internal and external. Stillness is an act of submission to the Creator, the King. Psalm 46:10 ends with, I will be exalted among the nations. That's who we're being still before. Stillness confronts our illusions of control. Most anxiety is rooted in the assumption that we must do something. And a lot of times, it's do something that only God can do. Stillness pries control out of our clenched hands. Stillness positions us to hear God clearly. Elijah didn't hear God in the wind, in the earthquake, or in the fire, but in the low whisper. 1 Kings 19:12. And whispers are only heard when the soul grows quiet. Stillness makes space for sanctification. Spiritual growth is not microwavable. It forms slowly, like roots growing beneath the soil. Stillness is where the roots take hold. Stillness magnifies God's sufficiency. Every time we stop, God keeps working. And that difference reminds us he is the sustainer. We are the sustained. Stillness is not stepping back from life. It's stepping into reality as God defines it. Let's talk about why stillness feels so impossible. And yes, we're going to be honest about this. So I've downloaded more calendar apps than Solomon has wives. Every new AI-powered scheduling app promises to simplify my entire life. And meanwhile, Christy trusts in exactly one calendar, the fridge. It's not an app. It's not syncing to anything. Just a magnet, a Sharpie, and a square with the day on it. I'll say, hey, look, I found this new app and it syncs to all of our devices and sends automatic reminders and we can put everything in there and it'll make everything better. And she'll just look at me like, yeah, okay. Honestly, her system has never crashed. It's never glitched or sent a reminder at 3 a.m. It's never updated without permission. So maybe on this one, she's got it right. Trying to be still with kids is like trying to pray inside a bounce house. You sit down with your Bible and your coffee, and suddenly there's a child that needs something, the blue cup. Justice, because that sibling over there, they breathed wrong. Help finding the shoe that was definitely in the middle of the floor. Or an answer to that deeply theological question. Hey, Dad, do fish have eyebrows? Still really not sure on that one. Stillness requires hot coffee, too. And reheating the same cup of coffee 3 times should absolutely count as a spiritual discipline. By the fourth reheat, I'm convinced I deserve a crown and glory. We've all tried to have quiet time with God and immediately be interrupted by the dryer buzz, a dog barking at a leaf, the UPS truck driver that always arrives at the worst possible time, or sudden realization that we don't even remember why we walked into the room. Stillness isn't natural for us. Stillness is intentional. And that's exactly why it's holy, and it's also why it's hard. Here are 3 simple but deeply formative ways to cultivate stillness this week. A 2-minute Selah, just once per day. Pause for 2 minutes. No phone, no noise, no multitasking. Just breathe, and one time say, God, you are God. I am not. Let that sink in. Meditate on that for a few minutes. That can calibrate the rest of your day. The phone Sabbath. Turn off notifications for 10 minutes. Just 10. Set your phone down. Walk away. Let your brain breathe. Stillness grows when we eliminate the digital clutter shouting for our attention. That also means take off that smartwatch. The Stillness Starter Kit. Choose one spot in your home. A chair, a corner, the porch. Doesn't really matter. Find a place where you can be still. When you sit there, your soul knows this is where I exhale. Stillness grows in familiar places. Stillness is not about mastering silence. It's about remembering his sovereignty. Thanks for taking this deeper pour with me today. These extra shots are where we get honest about the grind, nerd out a little bit on theology, and laugh at ourselves along the way. Cup 4's extra shot is coming out soon, but before you go, do me a favor. Share this podcast with a friend who needs a little grace today, or someone who just needs a solid excuse to buy some more Arrow and Roots coffee. And hey, like, subscribe, and leave a review if you can. Right now, I'm pretty sure I only have 1 review, and there's a solid 98% chance that it was my mom. So somebody help me out there. Until next time, stay grounded in grace, caffeinated for the grind, and keep your coffee strong and your faith stronger.